This sound made Nordic soldiers some of the most lethal soldiers of the Second World War. December 1939, a massive swath of 50,000 Soviet soldiers invade Finland. The Soviets are supposed to mow through the mere 11,000 Finns defending their land. But if that happened, the Battle of Suomussalmi wouldn't be the most significant Finnish victory of all time. The Battle of Suomussalmi was won by the Finns for many reasons. The most important? Skis. Since the 1200s, skis made Nordic soldiers the gods of their land. Today we are looking at the Swedish combat boots from 1969, aka the M59s. Some of the weirdest, most oddly built, lethal boots that have ever been made, and they don't really get any credit, so I wanted to talk about them today. And actually, when there was a better boot invented, the British still were trying to get these boots from the Swedes because the new fancy boot was actually making soldiers have to cut their feet off. So there's not an insane amount of knowledge available for these boots like there is for US boots or British boots and stuff like that, but I did dig up a lot. However, there's a little bit of stuff you won't know unless you cut the boots open. And I am 99% sure I recruited the help of the master cutter boot opener. Also, 3 things. 1, I'm going to be giving away $500 to one of you. 2, this video is sponsored by FlexiSpot. And 3, if you want to win that $500, I have a collaborative link in my description for Carrot. What's a collaborative link, you may ask? Well, you can join that link by signing up for Carrot, and then if you right-click on a product that you really like online and you add it to that collection, you are going to be entered into a competition, which is where I look at all the pictures and stuff that you guys added, I pick my favorite, and then the winner, I will either buy what you added to that list or give you $500. So definitely do that. Okay, so what you're looking at is Sweden's Spring-Fall 1969 boot collection. These are Spring-Fall for a very obvious reason that we'll get into in a second. There is also their winter collection and their summer collection. And mine, like I said, were made in 1969 in Värnamo, Sweden. I'm sorry, I'm not pronouncing that correctly at all. Starting off with the most boring boots in the Swedish collection is their summer boot line. These are boring because they're just regular boots. The really interesting thing is that these are stitched down construction. So the vamp of these boots flares out and then is stitched down. That's called stitched down construction. Has a whole host of benefits, very water resistant, very tough boot. You know, to be honest, I kind of didn't think I would like these boots at all. I thought I would hate them. They'd be old and stiff and gross, but walking on rough terrain and then walking on this grass and everything, they feel great. Very broken in, not too stiff. I'm wearing 2 pairs of socks, so that could help, but size down 1 if you're gonna wear 1 pair of socks, but you should probably always wear 2 socks. Okay, then we go to the coolest boots of all time. These are the M59 winter boots, which are amazing. They're beautiful. I think they're some of the coolest boots ever. I don't know how these haven't caught on yet, but construction is similar to put the boots together, but not how they're made. From my observations and what I can tell, we have an insulated booty, and then we stitch leather around the booty, and then we take the bottom vamp leather that we added on the booty, and we flare it out, and we stitch it down, and it's very toe boxy and beautiful and stuff, but this is very important. There is a leather sole. This is the only model that has a leather sole a lot, which you may be thinking, very weird for winter when there's snow and ice and everything. It's actually not weird at all, and it's classic military boot making from way back when. Strategic materials for strategic time. The interesting part is the summer boot has a rubber bottom, but the winter boot does not. That is because we'll go somewhere else. I have to show you what I mean so it makes more sense. Ugh, YouTube, aren't you just so sick of early day fatigue and lower back pain from a desk that doesn't allow you to stand all day? I know I am. So let's talk about FlexiSpot. You probably recognize this wood from the B-roll of all of my videos as of the past like 6 or 7 months because the FlexiSpot Pro Plus standing desk comes in a variety of wood tops and I chose rubber wood for that purpose. FlexiSpot also comes with a variety of accessories that you can add to make your life even easier. Power strip specifically made for your FlexiSpot desk so you can plug in everything that you need plugged in. The desk is easily adjustable for any height and it has presets. Anyways, the FlexiSpot Pro Plus E7 standing desk is the best value that you could possibly get in dual motor standing desks. I highly suggest you check them out. They come with a 30-day return policy and a 15-year warranty. You just can't beat that for the value. Thank you, FlexiSpot, for sponsoring this video. For those of you that don't know, this is water. Sometimes when you drink it, it's really good for you. Other times, it could kill you. What the heck? I know, right? All boots in the M59 uniform had to strike a balance between the climate that they were going to be worn in and the materials that they're made out of. So if we're looking at summer boots, for example, this is some pretty deep water for summer boots, but typically we're gonna be kind of in the mud, if anything, nothing crazy. When we move to fall and spring, it's going to be more wet, so the chances of water being higher or up to our ankles is much higher, so it's much more important that we have something that keeps the water out to that level. And then when we go to winter, usually everything is frozen, and in Sweden, apparently, it's a very dry cold, so a leather bottom is actually preferred. And if you're walking on ice or you're walking on snow, you're putting on skis, you're putting on creepers to help you walk on the ice, so you have that covered, but you don't need a rubber sole. Leather is the coolest that you can get for when it's really, really hot. Rubber obviously doesn't breathe as well, but you need your feet to stay dry. And then winter is dry outside, but your feet need to stay warm, so we add an extra level of insulation with that bootie. These, like I said, we're on the precipice of revolution in terms of boot functioning, but the actual revolutionary brand new boots hurt a lot of soldiers. Taylor and I have a saying, which is never trust upholstered furniture in the middle of the woods, but I think I can never make an exception because it's true. What is this doing here? And how long has it been doing there? And who put it there? Obviously, there's a chance Rose Anvil is just gonna slice these boots in half and tell you exactly how they're made, but here is my theory. I wanna see if I'm correct, and if I'm wrong, it'll be very embarrassing. So let's start off at this rubber plastic vamp thing and then go from there. Picture a plasticky rubber sock, like an ankle sock, not a sock that goes very high. That is the base of these boots. The easy part is we just stitch all of the leather bits on. So the quarters, this upper part, I think they just stitch into this material. And my reasoning for that is because if we look on this back tab, which by the way, this little hole, I believe, is so that way you could put gaiters on. If we look at this little pull tab, you'll see it appears to go under the heel of the boot. Okay, but here is the flaw if these boots are made how I think they're made. If you're familiar with LL Bean boots, these are not made the same way LL Bean boots are. The bottom of LL Bean boots is just one piece of rubber, so when you step in the water, water's not really gonna get through the rubber unless magic happens, but I don't think these are made like that. I think there's stitching in a very interesting way, reminiscent of true moccasin construction from last video. What I think is going on is we have the plastic bootie, we put this leather insole there, and then we stitch through the plastic bootie and the insole, and you can see the stitches on the inside, into a rubber midsole that goes on the outside of the boot, and we stitch all of that together, and that is the boot. But we don't have a heel and we don't have an outsole yet. This is the part that I'm unsure about because these boots are from 1969, so I would kind of think that the rubber wouldn't hold as long. What makes the most sense is that it's concreted on, glued on, whatever on, but it just seems like a really long time for that to last. But the heel part, I do know. So the heel, simply enough, is just nailed onto the boot. So you could see it coming through on the inside of the boot and you could see the nails on the outside. Easy peasy. You can just clunk a heel off, clunk another one on, you could rip the outsole off, toss another one on, however they adhere it to the midsole, and you're good to go. Let's do a waterproof test and I will explain why these boots are also very weird and rather clunky and square shaped and have a really cool thing on the heel. Okay, I have the timer on my phone, starting now. The reason that these boots made the Swede so lethal is, like I said in the beginning, these are just really modified lasts of ski boots. These are the same foot pattern, the same shape as those, because the main advantage that Swedes had, and what was very important when you're going through the mountains and stuff, is to be able to easily and quickly snap your feet into skis, so that way you can just get where you need to go in times of war. Okay, now here's the rub. If you're Swedish, obviously you may recognize these boots, but also, if you're British, and you fought in the Falklands War, you may be thinking, I wore those boots during war. Now there's unconfirmed lore that these boots, the very ones that I'm wearing, possibly the winter ones, were used heavily during the Falklands War because the British DMS boot, which was introduced in 1958 and used very heavily in the Falklands War, was faulty. That was not lore, that was true. People hated the original DMS boot. All right, well, I'm rather amazed. I've been standing in this water for 2 minutes and 15 seconds above the plastic vamp line, and my feet are still dry. And these were revolutionary because since we're not stitching through anything anymore, we have a mold that essentially slops the bottom part of the boot onto the upper part of the boot. These boots can be made for a lot cheaper and they are virtually waterproof. The only thing is, during the Falklands War, it wasn't accounted for that these boots are going to be so waterproof that soldiers' feet can also not breathe, and a lot of soldiers didn't wear these special nylon socks that you were supposed to wear with the boots, and what happened was the rubber inside of the boot basically trapped all of the sweat and moisture in the cold while they were fighting, and soldiers got trench foot. So the lore goes that these Swedish boots were worn very heavily during the Falklands War because they were all around better and didn't give soldiers trench foot. Honestly, it's not a review of these boots, it's more fun facts about them, but I'm thoroughly impressed. I did not think these were gonna be that water resistant, not because they're old or anything like that, just because of the way that they were constructed. I didn't think they'd be this good. If you were like, I kind of like these boots, should I get them for hiking? I'd probably say no, there's better, more supportive things for hiking, but if you like these boots for a rainy day or something, they're cool, they're unique, and they're like 20 bucks, so I'd actually highly recommend them. And they made Swedish soldiers especially lethal, so that could be cool. That's about it. I will see you all next week. Thank you for watching. I hope you're having a lovely day and you're staying safe. There's not fog in the video, it's smoke, so creepy stuff.